Hey folks, this is Lucid. Welcome back. We're jumping back into our new casting. I'm here with Sakne,
Hello, everybody.
and it's been a while, Sakne, since we've cast this game in terms of real lifetime.
Yeah, it has. It took us a while to even figure out what turn we were on,
Right.
uh, but
So
through
people
some
have to
clever
bear with us as
detective
we get
work,
back into it.
yeah. But we remembered that there were a few big wars going on. There was Atlantis versus Joman. There were the remnants of Lemuria, and there is Ulm and Marignon and Utgard.
Right.
And
So
so
let's
there's a
get
lot of stuff
reacquainted
to,
with all that. And then we have
yeah,
Gath voraciously protecting his capital.
Yeah. So
Um,
why
let's,
don't we start where you are? Yeah, let's
let's
start
start with
with
Atlantis.
Atlantis and Joman.
Oh boy. Big angry pile of turtles.
So last turn, if I remember, although this was a while ago, Joman had I think successfully fended off. Like there were some more minor battles that Joman had kind of come out ahead of.
Well, Gelman was persecuting a slow war against Sitis, I think is a better way to say it.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking on the Joman versus Atlantis front. Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
Joman here is the underdog, by the way, guys.
Right.
um, because he tried to fight Sithis and kind of failed on that front. And now the much bigger neighbor is coming in.
Yep. And now he really is just out of position. All his stuff is down here on Satis, and Satis has not been conquered. So,
Now, yeah, now I think, but up north, I feel like Joman had an army last turn. That army might be in the fort.
could be.
Uh, so I'm expecting a fairly large battle to happen in the north. But it looks like underwater there's some action too.
Yeah, it looks like they've decided to siege each other's fort down. Here, and I don't exactly know how this happened. I guess they must have come from, this army must have come from the cave.
So you've got some cat mages killing Piggy.
Yoink. They're going to run. Dropping some death gems on Shadow Blast there. And kills
Like
the PD.
didn't have it on conservative gem usage.
Right. And then here we have some Ryujin coming in.
Is that 4 Ryujin?
There's 4 Ryujin. And a lot of very angry water elementals.
Yeah, they're summoning water elementals, and I remember you were kind of critical of having Ryujin this.
Yeah, this is a water elemental battle. And I think the number of... Let's see how many they summon. I think the number of water elementals was about the same. But I think it's just the thing that made the difference is the army, actually.
I would have. I think there were more from the Joman side.
Yeah, you could be right. Probably right. There's definitely more right now. Okay, so right now we're at, what,
There's
4?
like 4 on Atlantis' side and 8.
Yeah.
Maybe over
Oh,
time Atlantis summons more,
Yeah.
but like I think that's what happens. It kind of evens out, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
the soldiers are also. Do those guys have magic weapons, by the way?
Do they have what?
Yeah, these guys. No, it's just a big old Yari.
Yeah.
But 2 attacks is good versus.
But, I mean, the problem with these kind of trickling out of Atlantis is they got overwhelmed by the
Yeah.
Joman army and the water elementals. So even though he maybe spent as many gems on it, they came out slowly, and then they got killed off about as fast as they came out. So
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I mean that's a nice win underwater for Joman, but he is far from out of the woods.
yeah,
All
it's
right, now is he fighting at all in the south? Not really, right?
no, not really. I mean, Satis pushed out here, but
Yeah. Okay, so I guess let's go. Should we continue
yeah.
south in Sitis?
Oh, well, Satis, nothing's really happening.
And Raga has stopped attacking Sitis.
Yeah, Raga, if you recall, there was also some kind of odd. Okay, had been like a little cold war between Raga and Atlantis, and it
They
seems
kind of
that
skirmished back and
stopped.
forth, and yeah, we think they pieced out.
Right.
Raga looks like he's trying to wipe out Lemuria once and for all.
Yeah, he might have his eyes on those juicy, juicy death gems.
because that's where all his army is.
Yeah.
And he's not fighting Satis, which is surprising, but
So, I mean,
okay.
Satis, I'm sure for him has been doing God's work by just wrecking Joman.
Yeah,
So,
or maybe Satis is just assassinating everything, and
yeah, that would
and
be
Raga
funny
doesn't
too.
want to pay that price.
Okay, so coming over, so Raga, not too much happening. Over here with, let's go to Bogarus. Let's hit this line first. So,
Yeah, Bogarus basically won the war versus Agartha, and he has only the capital left to take away.
full air elementals here. Made short work of that.
I
So,
think last turn he took that throne to the southwest with his pretender. He's got a Titan.
oh, nice.
And I think he must have just claimed it this turn.
Right. Okay.
And now Atlantis is not Atlantis. Now Agartha is like all the territory's been secured,
Right.
so he can just bring everything to the cap and have that final battle.
And the fort is cracked, so we'll see what we've got in
good.
store
So
for us next
we'll
turn.
see, yeah. Okay.
Ulm.
Ulm and Marignon are in the midst of a pretty epic war.
Oh boy. Okay, one thing I know is there were not this many troops on the outside when we look at the turn. Oh my god.
Yeah. So
Okay, what are your thoughts here just looking at this? Have you seen how it turns out?
I actually have.
Okay.
Because I was looking through the turns. I didn't watch it though.
So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, the thing is, I don't know their tech levels. What kind of mages? Can we click on, like, what are the mages that Marignon has here, that blob?
They've got these diabolists who I don't see a ton of communions. Oh no, there's communion slaves. There's a lot actually. So,
okay, so
I'm thinking
fire,
Sabbath.
blood, right?
Sabbath communion with like huge fire and blood magic. That's all super possible.
So, and in terms of troops, he's got a ton of crossbows, and I guess some like two-handed weapon dudes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my issue there is like that's going to be great in terms of evocations, right? And crossbows. That's clearly what he's trying to accomplish. But fire evocations are a little messy, right? And there's going to be like a ton of wolves and melee Ulm stuff up in his face, so he might end up doing like more friendly fire.
Yeah, that's a risk.
Than actual killing of things. What do we have on Ulm's side?
Ulm's side, we have, this looks like about 80 infantry with about 100 something crossbows, and then about 40, 35, 40 heavy cav with a few hundred wolves and a big astral communion.
Astral and death. I think it'll be also key. Let's see, we're on turn like 40, so I think these nations should be putting out some kinds of like important battlefield buffs here.
Yeah.
And it'll be really interesting to see who fails to do that.
Yeah, let's see what battlefield buffs they have coming up. So we have Divine Blessing going out.
A lot of things got interrupted there.
That
just in the
Astral Geyser coming down. Okay.
Flaming arrows.
I haven't seen a like a battlefield wedge going off.
No, me neither. I mean, flaming arrows on both sides. Yeah,
both sides. One thing is this mage core is pretty exposed. That's one thing just of note. Like Ulm has a lot more stuff in front of their mages.
Yeah.
And so I think some of this first volley hit some of these guys. So it's always risky, especially if you actually need your mages to do critical things other than just spam evocations. Is that Bloodlust? No.
No, he couldn't have that.
Oh, wait, what is this? What is that spell? That looks like bloodletting. It is
I'm
bloodletting.
gonna watch it on my computer because it's a little jittery on yours. I'll see if I can catch it.
Okay, it's bloodletting. So Marignon is spamming bloodletting, which is MR negates armor negating damage.
But in this kind of battle, it seems like both sides, like it's Marignon and Ulm have very similar,
Right.
right? They've got like heavy, like high protection melee with cheap crossbows. So if you're doing a spell like that, you need to think that it's going to be worse for the enemy than it's going to be for you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you would think that as Marignon in this situation.
Oh my god. Look at all that bloodletting. Holy shit. Bloodletting there. Bloodletting here. That is a lot of bloodletting.
Yeah.
I think it too, like, if you're bringing this high of a commitment army, you don't want to do it.
Yes, it seems anti-synergistic, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to bloodlet with like you want to bring like a big enough mage core obviously to cast it and enough dudes for them to survive long enough. But then, you know, like if you had like a third of what Marignon had, then you would spam bloodletting,
Yeah.
and you would come out ahead in the attrition war. But it looks like he just murdered his own army.
Yeah. You know what I think? It may be off-script casting. So this game has my off-script casting mod on it, which reduces the AI's propensity to cast bloodletting. I don't think it eliminates it. But the AI in vanilla loves bloodletting. So if you have high-powered blood mages and you're like, oh, we'll have them part of a, Sabbath and we'll just let them go off-script with a lot of blood mages, there's a decent chance of you bloodletting your own army to pieces.
Let me look at the round when this is cast.
In fact, I kind of want to go pull up my... I can do it on my phone.
No, these bloodlets were all cast on the battle rounds, like 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you think so?
Well, I just brought it up with the control
Okay.
thing. And, I mean, it's still possible it was off script, but then
Yeah.
it's a mistake on his part. Like, he should have scripted something.
Let me pull up my mod real quick.
But why did he bring that many blood slaves, right? Like, what else was he planning to cast if it wasn't going to be blood?
I mean, there's a lot of useful blood magic, man. Like agony spam, or even just summoning imps isn't bad. Okay, bloodletting. Okay, bloodletting I did not ban. I reduced its its value it gets by 90%.
I think it was scripted because like
Yeah.
the first ones were cast on round 2. It was like Communion Master bloodletting is clearly what was scripted.
I kind of want to watch this one again.
Bring up the timer with Control C. You'll see what I.
I got it up. This first salvo from Ulm, look at it.
Yeah, they're too far in front. These mages.
I've won battles before with bloodletting, but you need a lot of it, and you need to be prepared to survive it, and you definitely don't want to bring a big human army like this.
Yeah, I think bringing a human army is the problem here. So see, we're on round 2 now, or about 2 or 3, and there it goes.
But that wasn't bloodletting. That was something different. I think that was bloodlust, and I think that gave his demons plus 4 strength.
Yeah, okay, there goes Bloodlust. Alright, let's keep watching.
That's bloodletting. I kind of want to look at this. What are these mages casting? First, let's take a look at his communion, see what he's got. So these guys, he's a Sabbath Master, and they've got 15 slaves.
They've lost some, so let's assume it was a 16, right?
And then... Wait, the rest are going to be masters. So it's probably, I'm guessing, like a 2 slave, 1 master ratio. which is super safe. He's got this guy to drop big nature spells. What are these guys casting?
So looks like. All right, so I'm looking more closely now what he cast. I'm seeing a lot of. So he did like Legions of Steel. He's got some summon. He did like Phoenix Power. I'm seeing Leech.
Leech is good. Blade Wind.
Bloodletting. Flame Ward. So he's trying to buff everybody with fire resist because of the flaming arrows.
Oh man. Meanwhile, Ulm seems mostly immune. I'm not sure why.
Leech. Yeah, it's just but so I just watched the battle with like my camera focused on Marignon's Mage Core, and everything was good. Like we're all logical things, but there's a lot of guys spamming bloodletting, and I think you can't spam bloodletting on your own human army.
Yeah.
I think that is a wrong call, and it was scripted.
Yeah.
Let's look at Ulm. I'm just gonna look at Ulm's side quickly, see what his mages were casting. Big Communion. Astral Geysers. Both of them are doing like Legions of Steel, anti-magic, the usual stuff. Yeah, Astral Geysers.
So this is pretty brutal for both sides. I mean, technically Ulm won, but I don't know if they really won.
Well,
no, they kind of won. They didn't lose that many troops.
They won, and the mages, like, Marignon lost a lot of mages there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Ulm definitely won
A lot
this.
of mages.
That was definitely a win. Yeah. Marignon lost at least 30-something mages, and then they lost. The rest were troops of decent quality.
So I think that I'm surprised that Marignon went to Blood 5. Or I guess if your idea
he went farther because he has Leech, right? Leech is like Blood 6. He's going for
I guess
his angels.
He's going for blood. Yeah, he's going for blood stuff. So
he's at Blood 7 already.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, blood evocations are great on like super combatants, right? Or thugs.
Yeah.
That you're just going to throw in. You do like morale plays. They're also good against thugs because you've got like life for life and things like that. But they're not very good if you are the human army. In that case, you probably want to use the regular evocations. Like the fire evocations, I think would have wrecked Ulm. Like just good old fireballs.
Yeah, they would have done better. I mean, Ulm, I think what he was thinking is like, I don't want to get in a troop battle against Ulm because like Ulm has better troops. There's like, I have to win through my mages. And I'm kind of on board with him there. But I'm also kind of not. Like, he has kind of better crossbowmen in a way. Like,
I think his troops are just as good as Ulm's. I mean, look, humans wielding two-handers are kind of like gonna kill each other, and it's gonna be bloody.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a big difference who's got like one more prot, right?
Well, 21 prot, 22 damage versus these guys who were 20 prot, 24 damage. Yeah, it's about the same.
Like, it's pretty much the same, right? So, but I think that honestly, Marignon's regular evocations are better than Ulm's because Ulm was doing like Astral Geyser, which is like okay, I guess. But an Astral evocation spam is pretty garbage.
Yeah.
Like, whereas this could have been fireballs or any kind of fire AoE, not fireball, but whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Thing, right? That would have been.
Or even just agony spam. I think agony spam would have actually been the play here, but
yes, I agree. All right, well, that's too bad for Marignon.
Yeah. This is a battle they should have won, but they lost.
I agree.
But this is a new player game, and I give this an A for effort. You know, like, you learn something from this. Like,
Yeah.
if you haven't done bloodletting on your own armies before, you just, you got to find out the hard way sometimes.
Dominions is very unforgiving, right? Because I agree, like, that battle, it was scripted very well. Like, all the mages, he cast all the right buffs. The communion was good. Except for his mages being a little exposed to crossbows, like, it was well set up. But you make one mistake. You choose one spell because you think on paper, oh, this is going to work. And then you realize,
Right.
oh, wait.
Yeah.
And then that's what happens. Now, he's not completely screwed. He had a lot of army. That was one of his big armies, but he's got plenty of troops. He's still, Ulm's fort to the east appears to be vulnerable. The throne there.
Right here?
No, to the east.
Oh, the east, yeah. This one's in a bit of trouble. And Marignon's, especially with these oceans here, is going to be a lot more mobile than Ulm.
Absolutely. So he's not out. Plus, in the north, Marignon appears to be doing just fine.
Right. So let's go up and we'll follow Marignon now. So he's attacking Utgard's fort. There's nothing inside. Okay, so that's a clean sweep. Utgard has a force here, and I think this force is a little betwixt and between. Does it want to stay around here and defend its cap? Does it want to take its fort back from Marignon over here, or does it want to come contest this army on this side of the map?
Yeah, I forget last turn where it was. Marignon did some great logistics moving across the waters,
right,
to capture that throne from Utgard.
But here you can see really the strategic mobility advantages Marignon has just through sailing.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And especially, it's being amplified by Utgard's tendency to want to kind of doomstack. Like, Utgard's only way out of winning this war, aside from, like, looking at diplomacy sorts of things, but, like, if he actually wants to win a war with Marignon just as him, he has to be much more confident in having smaller stacks of things that can defend stuff.
And he has to deploy the Utgard technology that will make that effective, which is going to be either turbo communions or Scrotty or something.
Yeah.
Like, right now, he's just trying to, like, doomstack sacreds, but that's not going to go well against hordes of humans.
Yeah, we're at the point in the game, in my opinion, where, like, gam herdings start falling off pretty fucking hard. Like, I'm not an Utgard expert, but in my opinion, there's a point where you even stop recruiting gam herdings and you just get mages and, like, stone hurlers and stuff to tear down fort walls. But we're definitely at the point where you do not want to rely on your game herdings.
Because he has a regen bless, they're going to be the annoyingly impenetrable wall that is going to protect, like, let's say, your communion or your mages behind, right?
Yeah, you definitely want to recruit them now. I meant, like, way later, you don't want to recruit them.
Yeah, but that's, like, the difference is, like, if another nation had, like, some Skelly Spam communion, well, their front line to protect their mages is whatever, some cheap traff, whereas you have amazing sacreds. So, that's how you have to see them, not as the key to
I see what you're saying. You're saying they are not the army. They are the protector of the army.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be undersold, right? Like, that's a huge deal. Like, the weakness of a strong mage is, well, I'll just kill it with my army, right?
Right.
But if in order to do that, you have to go through regenerating sacred giants, that's, like, not fair, right?
Right. Meanwhile, Utgard has rolled some rather unfortunate events. He got attacked by Troll King, and then he got attacked by a bunch of Ronin.
Which sounds like he didn't put 6 PD somewhere.
Right. So, he's got PD, I think. Yeah, these all had some PD. They all had 6.
Oh, okay. So,
but we can't see scales. He probably took Misfortune, because Misfortune's free, basically. Until you get the full PvE experience.
Until you get bogus 3 times.
Yeah. Okay. All
right.
So Utgard not looking good. Marignon. I think at this point in the game, Marignon is still one of the biggest nations, right? Yeah. If they're not the biggest, they're right up there.
And the battle against Ulm is, like, has yet to be determined, but he's doing well on his northern front. So
if he won this battle, which he should have won, really, then he would be on the gravy train right now, because he would be in a two-front war where he's winning both fronts.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's in a weird situation where he's in a two-front war where he's winning one front and slightly losing another. All right, Gath, diligently guarding the fort walls.
Now, Gath, for those of you who, I mean, actually, in releasing these videos, they might be in quick succession, but for us, it's been a while. So,
yeah,
to remind ourselves, Gath had gone really far north into Lemuria. Unbeknownst to us, he didn't think of feeding his giants. So
right.
when it came to the big battle against the Lemurian, awe and regenerating dudes, he just got wrecked because everybody was diseased and had low morale. And the reason he went up there was to get his wasteland, which unfortunately he didn't start within his cap, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So now he has been forced to retreat, and Lemuria is trying to take back the forts that Gath took from him.
Yeah. So
that's a sad state of affairs in that part of the world.
Yeah, very sad. I think Gath also is starting to be very low energy, if we could put it that way. Like, hardly playing, which
could be.
Yeah. But we'll see. Okay, we've covered Lemuria, I think. Oh, wait, no, there was a battle here with Lemuria. Watch this.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I remember last turn, Raga had lost some sort of small-ish sized armies to Lemuria. But it looks now he's bringing, like, his whole army to bear. Yeah, I don't think Lemuria's enough. Fire elementals, the Aidens. That looks like Edimu in the back, right?
The what? Say that again?
That looks like Itimu in the back.
Oh yeah, Itimu's back here. Sure.
Does he have arms again? Because didn't at one point he lose both his arms?
Itimu lost an eye, has a chest wound and a never healing wound. Okay. But arms he does have.
For some reason I remember him having lost some arms.
I think you're right, I think he did. I think he was Cucumber Itimu for a little bit.
Yeah. Alright, so Thunder Strikes, Theodens, just Astral Spam in general.
Yeah, the Astral Spam is going to make it pretty hard to thug against.
Also, the combination of both Astral and Holy and Thunder is really hard to protect against, even in the best of cases. Like, even if you had gear to put on your Centurions, that'd be hard to protect against, but Lemur isn't in a great position to be making any gear, and he doesn't have resist in his bless. By the way, I just saw a Gibber there that was borrowed from Gath.
Oh yeah, there were a few. Gath made a showing on the field. Oh, gifts from the sky? Gifts of the heavens?
That's another way to kill.
Oh, and dust to dust spam coming out. Forget about it.
Yeah.
I think we have to be, as a veteran Lemuria player, let me describe this Ragan army. This is not the kind of Ragan army you send thugs into. This is the kind of Ragan army where you need a proper Lemurian army. And so this is where really just the whole game is catching up. Like, he's kind of checkmated. Because the only way to fight this is with the Lemuria army, but he doesn't have a Lemurian army because his Lemurian armies are all dead.
Yep.
So, correct. And it does suck because, I mean, honestly, there's so many different threat vectors in this army. There's no way to thug against it, and that's Lemuria's only way of holding on is being able to like thug.
Which worked until now because Raga was busy doing other things, but now he is no longer busy doing other things.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Satis isn't doing much.
Right. I think we've covered everybody, haven't we?
I think that's it. Atlantis, we talked about Atlantis versus Droman. That's all that's going on there.
Right. Well, let's not waste time and let's get to turn 41. There we go. All right. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's. We were just talking about. We were just talking about like Raga and Lemuria. So why don't we head back to
Yeah,
that
let's
part
go
of the
back that
world?
way.
See if anything happened.
Oh boy.
Things
Moved
did
on top of
happen.
this
It looks like
fort, which happens to be Lemuria, and says, we'll be taking your capital. Thank you very much for playing.
there was no PD.
Yeah.
All right, so no battles there, but Raga moving in for the killing blow.
Yeah. But that is, I think this is GG for Lemuria. You're checkmated at this point, buddy. If he pulls this out, he's been hanging on for dear life. If he can do something now, I'll be extremely impressed.
All right. Why don't we go? Yeah,
Continue
let's go
Raga?
north. Yeah, well, Raga. Nothing else on his other borders. We could just mention that Gath isn't doing anything either. Why don't
Coming
we
up
go...
to Joman.
Yeah, let's look at Satis. I'm just checking quickly. Nothing happened there.
Okay, so Joman. Okay, just attacking a little PD under here. There's a battle here where Joman doubles back to his fort. Says, you'll not be preventing me from recruiting things on my fort. And Atlantis chose to stay, interestingly.
Well, he was surrounded. Like, he didn't have anywhere else to go. Like, he didn't have any friendly...
He could have gone to the cave that he came from.
Yeah, but it would have been just as likely that Joman would have... Like, Joman did take that. He took it with a small army, but it was Joman's cap circle. So if I was Atlantis, I would have expected that not to be very safe.
Yeah.
However, it's not clear to me that he had any reason to think that his army could kill this Ryujin army.
No, I mean, I think you have every reason to know it's not going to be able to.
So,
Well, so they get ground into dust here.
loses, yeah, the cap.
Where would they have gone? I mean, the safest thing would have been moving on top of Raga's cap. I mean,
Raga, sorry, I need to kill some PD quickly.
yeah, sorry. Send him some money and say apologies, but we're evacuating.
Honestly, he could have also, like, just going south or east would have been safe because there's no reason for Joman to like put troops there. Yeah.
But yeah, that's don't want to. I mean, that was basically guaranteed loss. But let's see. There's a battle up here. So Joman is riding out. We don't see snow on the ground, so it must not be cold scales yet.
I
think it's summer,
to be
right?
Heat 1.
Yeah.
I just checked on my map, so it's Heat 1.
And he's got a lot of these Master Shugenjas. And some of these have Earth Boots too, so yeah. I'm expecting lots of Legions of Steel, Strength of Giants, that sort of thing. Some Wooden Warriors. Oh no, Poison Ward coming out. Oh, it looks like he's Foul Vapors trapping. This is what I was terrified of fighting. I was fighting Joman semi-recently with human armies. I was really worried about Foul Vapors coming out.
Oh, except there's a big problem. And I remember this from a couple battles ago. The big problem is that Atlantis has Wailing Winds. And that basically means that Joman is fucked no matter what.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do in Dominions at this stage with like a human army against Wailing Winds. It is just GG.
Yeah, I mean, Foul Vapors is going to be something that helps, but
like your Foul Vapors guy can just decide to run off the field because he's scared.
Yeah.
Like, there is... Look at all the mages. Like, there is...
I think they have particularly bad morale, too. Or no, they're not... Yeah, they are pretty bad. What is base morale's 8? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Forget
like
about it.
Insult to intrigue.
Yeah, it's extra effective against Joman.
Like, there is no... This would have been... Without Wailing Winds, I think this would have been a great close fight. I mean, I don't know exactly, but it would have been worth watching. But with Wailing Winds, it's a joke. It's just like a toddler trying to punch a wrestler. There's nothing you can do. And you have to know that, right?
Yeah.
So you have to know if you're fighting a nation that has not only the magic paths, but the reason to go down Evocation 6 early, which LA Atlantis does because they're going to do Stygian Reigns. So you should always expect Atlantis by turn 40 to be doing Wailing Winds. And
I think
you need to be ready.
Atlantis is probably one of the, if not the strongest, probably one of the strongest mid and late mid-game nations in late age. Like, when they hit these,
Yeah,
if they're played properly and they hit these evocation timings, you are in such deep shit.
it's devastating. Because, a lot of people hate Wailing Winds, myself included, but, I mean, I'm not saying I'm just saying it's hard to play against. So how do you deal with Wailing Winds? Well, you either need to, at a minimum, you need to have like your Prophet communioned up or something to be able to do fanaticism.
Yeah. Plus morale items help.
Yeah, and then that's the thing though, because if you're a human nation that's relying on like 15 mages to do stuff, it's going to be hard to forge all those items. But it's better than nothing. It's a good thing to be spending your fire gems on.
These guys are particularly low morale. Like, most mages are going to have pretty high morale. Like, his mages over here.
So the alternative is
like 15 morale.
Yeah.
Like 13 base. So
you need to do things like gem bait, for example.
But I mean, that is not reliable. But yeah.
Yeah, but like you're fighting an uphill battle, so you need to gem bait. And I mean, there are thugging solutions. I'm just talking like in general,
but not against Atlantis. Really, it's hard to thug against Atlantis.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? That's what makes Atlantis so strong. Is Wailing Winds deals with big armies, and big dudes, size 3 dudes with two-handed weapons deal with most thugs.
Yeah. Generally, if you're fighting Wailing Winds, you want to have a very, very fast battle, right? So,
obviously, if you had berserking troops, that'd be a thing. But
yeah,
not
but
all
like mass flight and stuff helps.
Yes, mass flight.
But yeah, generally things to give you a fast battle. Battlefield wipes are going to be somewhat helpful because they take place immediately. So even if it takes a few turns for the effect to kind of accumulate, you're going to be doing some damage at least.
Yeah, but what you mentioned is important. Like, so if you consider mass flight, that's like enchantment 6 or 7, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have that no sooner than your opponent is going to have Wailing Winds if you rushed for it.
Right.
Now, to be fair, high enchantment is definitely worth going for as a human nation, right? You want your mass regen and your resists and stuff like that. But you need to be planning that if you're thinking of fighting LA Atlantis at some point, or whoever, right? One of the Helheim, or one of the many of the air death nations, where you can.
Atlantis is in a particular spot because most nations cannot afford, even if they have Wailing Wind access, they're going to be heavily conflicted about going for it.
Right.
Because it's deep in evocation, and or pretty deep. And a lot of times you don't want to rush evocation. Evocation is one of the, in my opinion, like the usually less attractive rush schools.
Yeah, but like for example, the air death nations might be going evocation for Storm and Thunderstrike anyways. So there are a couple of nations where it makes sense. And true. Honestly, you need to be. I mean, you might not rush it. They might go Conjuration 5 first, right? But, what I'm saying is, if you're facing a nation that can bring to bear Wailing Winds pretty early, you need to be thinking of your counter to that from the beginning of the game when you're planning your tech path.
I mean, honestly, Foul Vapor is one of the best things for that Joman could do here, and it's just clearly not enough. A lot of it is the morale. I think if he stuck around long enough, like if he had all his troops on high morale on high morale commanders with morale items, and his caster for Foul Vapors had high morale, that would have been about the most damage he could do.
Yeah,
at this
not
phase.
Good options here for Joman.
The 1-2 for Atlantis is they're the only nation that I can think of in the game that has magic weapons, and therefore Stygian Reigns is super attractive, and they have the paths to cast it, and they have the paths to cast Wailing Winds. So This is the 1-2 punch that makes them. Did they cast it in that battle? Stygian Reigns.
I didn't see. Let's see.
If we see Rain, it probably got cast. Yeah, Natural Rain, they probably cast it.
You could just check them.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've got it. Yeah, so he's got Vacation 7.
Yeah,
which
so
is not surprising.
He probably lost almost nothing. 100 troops? Oh fuck! Oh, this was almost definitely to Foul Vapors.
Well, look at the kills. It looks like it must have been friendly fire because there aren't that many kills on. There aren't enough kills.
Yeah, how did they get that?
Side.
How did you lose 100? Could have been water element. No. Oh, could have been. Yeah, Gifts of Heaven.
I mean, there's some. Yeah, it is Gifts of Heaven.
I think it was Gifts of Heaven.
I mean, Joman did do some work, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of these Angakocks. I mean, these Forgiving Fathers that ended up killing his own things. But anyway, yeah. If there's some, I was talking with Perrin the other day, and he was telling me he had read some, like, even as a new player, he had read some of the old Late Age Atlantis guides, and he was reading, and they were talking about like Hellbless or stuff and stuff like that. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Hellbless.
Yeah.
No,
but
just go research Evo 7. Done.
Yeah, exactly. It's if Late Age Atlantis in the hands of a decent player who knows what they're doing, though, whew, scary.
There's a reason people consider it one of the stronger nations.
Okay.
And you just witnessed it. All right. So moving on. Bogarus did. Oh, we're expecting a battle for Agartha.
Oh, we had it.
Now I forget exactly what was left for Agartha.
Oh.
Looks like he has something, but it's been greatly diminished.
He's got some penumbrals. He's got some umbrals. The big daddies. And it makes sense he has a fair amount of summons because his cap's been under siege for a while. He's got a Sepulcher.
Yeah.
He's got Albert the Prophet. I don't see his god here. Unless this is his god. This is his god.
Yeah, there he is.
But this looks like a mountain of hurt.
Let's see what Bogarus. I'm curious what Bogarus is going to cast here. So
it looks like the plan is just archers plus smite spam.
Totally legitimate.
Oh, and look at that banishment from the Holy Three. It's just wrecking those umbrals. Holy shit.
Fortunately, he's got, well, not so much unfortunately. He's got an air blast, which means the banish is a kind of low damage, high AoE spell.
Yeah.
Which is great against Skeleton, against sort of higher quality undead. It's a little less effective, but honestly, when you have like 10, I don't know how many Holy Cruise he's got, it's kind of effective anyways.
1 second, let me adjust my sound. I need to turn my volume up, but I can barely hear you, but the game sounds so loud. I'll do that after this. Alright, so the Agartha is actually holding pretty well. The heavy cab mostly in trouble. Man, this is scrappy. Almost didn't take it.
Yeah, the heavy... I feel like the one thing that was missing on Bogarus's part is I don't feel like his frontline heavy cav was that buffed. He didn't have that many of...
I think he wanted to get... He had some of them just charge in before buffs, because I think he wanted to just get through the gate. Which I think is viable.
Yeah, that's fine, but...
I think he needed like some kind of elementals for this. I think that would have made this a lot easier. But... I mean, I think what we can say is he didn't trade great. Like, it wasn't a clean trade, but he didn't trade bad. Like...
Yeah, he's got, like, his eparchs are fine, right? He had 17 of them. He lost one.
Yeah. Agartha basically just made him trade, like, 1-for-1 with him. Like, okay, you want to kill all this shit? Well, get your wallet out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing he's missing here, and I'm wondering, we haven't quite seen where Bogarus is going in terms of research, but I'm definitely noticing a lack of any kind of buffs, and that would have saved a lot of his heavy cav.
Yeah. And this down a bit. I'm gonna turn
because
the volume
he
up
has
for
magic
you.
pass. It's Bogarus. They can cast anything they want. So
Yeah.
and just like low stuff like Legions of Steel, Wooden Warriors. Anyways,
Yeah.
he wins.
Well, that's it. So that's the end of the war for Bogarus and Agartha. Well played, Agartha. Thank you for joining the game, buddy.
Eliminated. GG.
And I'll be honest, it warms cockles in my heart when I see somebody make someone pay the iron price for the last
right. Yeah.
the cap.
So remember way back how we were pitying Bogarus for the terrible, terrible start. And
right
now he's looking quite.
He's in position 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I know he's in position 1. Because there's no way Marignon's up from this. Marignon's probably down a little. I think Bogarus is in position 1 right now.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
How about that?
Yeah, he's got one more fort he can take from Satis up north.
Oops, I can start hitting the next key.
All right, we need to talk about Ulm, Marignon, Utgard. I think is the last
Ulm,
area.
Marignon, Utgard. Okay, here we are. Here's Ulm. So the Southern War, Marignon lost an important battle here. They still got their fort, but their fort got popped. Looks like there was an expeditionary force from Marignon here that got caught.
Ulm is raiding with some vampires, it appears.
Right. Is annoying.
Marignon decided not to stay on that fort.
Right.
Because that army probably wasn't big enough to siege it down in any reasonable amount of time, so he's trying to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah. I think what's more likely is he probably didn't feel he could take it. I think he was... Well, oh no, these guys are... I think Ghoul Guardians, don't they have...
They might have
siege defense bonus?
Yeah. Even without... That's almost the same army strength in the castle. Like, it's a bit less. Maybe there's less mage support, but it makes it so that the differential in siege, attack versus siege defense is very small.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And so, but he can still sail back and be useful if he needs to. So this is a logical move from Marignon. Like, he can come across and...
yeah.
He should probably have left one dude.
Right. I was thinking that too.
Yeah. So, guys, always leave one, not a commander, just an unaccompanied troop on the fort when you leave it to force the opponent to actually break siege.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we'll be treated to a big battle here next turn.
Now, it looks like Utgard has decided to go and reclaim his throne. Unfortunately, at the same time, Marignon decided to go claim Utgard's cap.
Right. So, yeah, and this is, again, forcing to a head that same issue we were just talking about, which is now he's got to make a decision. Do I come down here, or do I save my cap? And it's really not a decision. He's got to come back. But unfortunately, this army's out of position. It can no longer be back in time to defend the cap PD. So the battle will have to be PD-less. Unless Marignon moves on top and gets wrecked, which, is possible. Yeah. But this is a pretty scary army.
There's a monolith.
Oh, yeah.
Guard. So, monoliths are... Yeah.
Hell of a drug. Okay. So, that'll be interesting. That'll be fun to see how this all plays out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Utgard's taken back some of the indie provinces.
Yeah, the trolls are still there, I see, but...
And, okay. So, anyway, this whole war is basically this whole, north-south parallel. Or...
yeah, is that a...
Not a parallel, the other thing.
The other thing, yeah.
Those are called. Latitude. I don't know what you would call it.
Okay, I think we covered
We did Raga,
everything on
right?
this turn.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, Raga. Yeah, he moved on to Lemuria, but there was no battles.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys shortly in the next episode. Take care.
Take care.